It's time for a very special Zigo. And we'll give an Ichi Nissan Da because it does tie into AEW. Basically, what had happened, you guys know that we covered JD from NYO, right? You know, a lot of people accuse JD of being a bit of a flip-flopper. Oh, he loved AEW, then out of nowhere he hates AEW. I give him the benefit of the doubt and say people wake up at different times, right? Everybody wakes up eventually to AEW, and you're starting to see that. The numbers reflect that. And I think JD was fine. He still had one of the biggest audiences regardless if he hated on AEW or not. So I don't know if it's that necessarily. Not to say that money and his viewership increasing so greatly wouldn't be a factor, like seeing that. And I'm not saying that wouldn't motivate someone, but I like to give him the benefit of the doubt. I mean, the man blocked me when I was like calling AEW for what it was, and then he unblocked me when he agreed with that I was saying a year before that he was now saying. So, and again, I don't like hold a grudge for that. When I do the JD impression, it's just to be funny. I don't hate Conrad, and oh, come on now, Eric. I'm just being funny, right? So, and the reason I'm saying all this is because people right now have like drawn a line in the sand. Now it's like not just WWE wackos versus AEW sickos. It's like JD from NY Defenders versus AEW wrestlers and AEW people. And it's so stupid, man. He's just a guy with an opinion. If his opinion triggers you that much, if he's sitting there saying like, I'm going to beat you up and agreeing to combat like him and Joey. Okay, I get why him and Joey go at it all the time, right? If JD just criticizes your and you don't like him, well, I'm sorry, you're being a baby. Like, Jesus Christ, imagine what Anthony Mackie goes through just from being Captain America. You know what I mean? Imagine what that guy goes through. Like, chill, calm down, Like, who cares? It's all good. Right? That's the whole point. That's what I try to point out. Like, Meltzer's opinion is dumb, and so is 90% of the people's out here. Okay? JD, he does commentary for, what is it called? House of Glory, HOG Wrestling. Okay? And he's been doing it for a while now. And, we've covered it here on the show. Joey Janela and him have wanted to fight each other. Wrestlers Ricochet just can't help. He's so triggered by JD, and it's so cringe. It's like, dude, stop selling for him then. If you don't care, if it's like, no, he's just an idiot who doesn't matter, then don't sell for him. Jesus Christ. But yeah, so JD and Joey have always hated on each other. We're going to cover some of that. What had happened was, though, he works for HOG Wrestling. He does commentary. Mercedes Moné is wrestling a match against Megan Bayne for the HOG title. A bunch of people, including myself, call out, oh, she's going to win that belt too, isn't she? So then she gets replaced with Indy Hartwell, who is the ROW champion, but not the ROW like Reality of Wrestling. ROW like whatever the Australian ROW is. You guys know what I'm saying? Like it's called Rage Renegades of Wrestling or something like that, right? And so she's like a women's champ there. So some people are like, oh no, she's going to drop that belt. No, that wasn't the case, but she did wrestle Moné. I don't know. I watched the match. It is what it is. So before this match, right, JD gets pulled off commentary, right? So not only is it not Megan, but Indy steps in, and then it's announced that JD gets pulled off commentary because Mercedes Moné like requested it, that he not be. Well, at least he hasn't denied that, and that's what everybody. I'm not sure if anyone's confirmed that or flat outright said that, but that's what everybody speculated, and it makes the most sense because why else would that happen? All of a sudden, he's not allowed to call her match. Now, I'm going to get into his post with the cha-cha-cha, Charmin, and like everything else, right? We're going to break down what other people have to say. Now, if you guys are asking asking my opinion on it, For JD, welcome to the wrestling bid buzz. Okay, I just botched. Hold on, let's rewind that. We're gonna. You fucked up. Welcome to the wrestling biz, bud, where people are, and I'm not even saying JD's out there boo-hooing himself. He's not like, licking my wounds, and he's not complaining. He just called her soft, and then all the wrestlers are jumping on him. But like, that's what people do. They politic and with you, and that's entertainment in general, bro. So, if he's getting his first daddy magic taste of like getting booted off a show, that's bound to happen. I bet he doesn't even care as much as other people are making it out to be. Now, that being said, a lot of people rather pointed out how they're like, well, he tried to backtrack and was like, I actually like Mercedes, and yeah, I really do love her work, and I just, her AEW, her booking's not good, and da 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 da. So, and I understand doing that too, because sometimes you get so lost in people that at the end of the day, I am an AEW fan. Like, I try to put over this when I watch it. You guys hear it. I've been less and less interested as time. I gotta be honest. It's just I have no faith in Tony Khan anymore. I really don't. So if I give it, like, why don't I give TNA the same energy? That's how I'm starting to feel personally, right? As a fan, it's like, okay, cool, but like, I'm a fan of this other. I don't give the same energy. And WWE, there's so much to talk about lately. So I get it. You get caught up where it's like, I'm a fan of Mercedes. I'm a fan of Sasha Banks. I am, like, me as well. I'm an Edge fan. I'm a Dean Ambrose fan, man. Who wasn't? I was a big Moxley fan at the start of AEW too, dude. When Wild Thing would hit, I'd go crazy. I'd crash out. It was awesome, dude. You can, but sometimes you get caught up being like these dudes, and I could say the same thing. I was a big Young Buck fan before. Now it's just, oh my god, I just can't even stand them. But there was for a long time where it's like, yeah, I'm a fan of them. So I get where JD's coming from, and people are like, he's backtracking, and it is backtracking. We'll call it what it is, a bit, right? But also he's reminding sickos, like, guys, I'm not just burying her to bury her, but then people will never believe it anyway. So, just my opinion on that whole thing is, yeah, what do you expect Mercedes is going to do, dude? Sammy Guevara's banished to Ring of Honor. You had to know she was going to do that to you, or any of these AEW guys are going to do that to you. And I think JD does know that, and I don't think he's complaining that much. I think other people are complaining on behalf of him more, and they're like, oh, JD apologists, and so I don't know if people want to call me that. Sure, nobody's roasted him though more than me. I'm just saying at the same time, like, I do a whole bit around where it's like, Gabagoo, I'm JD Dice Clay. Oh, so you guys can say whatever. I don't really give a shit. But ultimately, I think people are more outraged for JD than JD is. And I think, I don't know. I didn't read all the argument stuff. People tagged me. I saw something. I bookmark it. I react with you guys. Him putting out the Charmin thing, he's well within his right to do that. And that's funny because it does prove that. Back in the day, if you hated JD so bad, and I know, well, it's not back in the day, Phil. Okay, but are we trying to draw money or not? What is WWE doing that's drawing all this money and getting all this attention and going viral? Work, shoot works, brother. So what's real? Who really hates each other? Who does? So all I'm saying, man, is that, like, these are the same sickos will defend Mercedes for doing this, are the same ones like, oh, WWE ID, the same week that, Brett Lauderdale and all these people have to come out and be like, and all these wrestlers have to be like, dude, WWE ID, WWE isn't mingling with anything. They're not doing, right? They aren't even like subsidizing our travel in that. Like, they aren't doing anything, bro. They're not booking nothing. The same week about WWE's poison for the indies, all these same sickos are like, oh, this is good. Tony can just pull. Mercedes can just get commentators pulled. But at the same time, I'm also going to advocate on the other side and go, that's the biz, bro. You got the night off work, JD. I know it sucks, but like, man, I mean, that's, dude, back in the day as well, people would have politicked your ass out of there way quicker, so yeah, it wouldn't be Twitter fingers threats, dude. It'd be like Joey would pull up on you or whatever, you know, back in the day too. So that's the wrestling business, shades of the old again. Tony Khan is Tony McKhan. He is doing all this that people thought we left in the past. He's down to do it. He's down to partake, right? Because he's just playing catch up. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's learning the hard way. He didn't actually learn anything from all the I studied all the bookers. No, you didn't study the booking. You just studied like watching the matches like a fan, like a mark, right? You didn't study like the all of the things that go into like booking the angles and telling the stories and having the moments and generating the heat and piquing the interest. Like you didn't study how people did any of that. He didn't, you know, I'm sorry. He just didn't. So ultimately though, yeah, like, do I feel bad for JD? Sure. Is he missing out on a payday? Sure. Would the right thing for HOG to do be pay him? Even though because of the like, dude, you're pulled, listen, here's your pay. Yes. Is Mercedes softest for doing that? Absolutely. Is Tony Khan absolutely cringe for that? Absolutely. Am I shocked or does it matter? Should people be melting down or being called apologists or ists anything or people at war over JD getting pulled from a cop? No, you know what I mean? Like everyone calm them down. It's not even that big of a deal. But it just shows that JD can pique more interest and get more heat than, you know what I mean? Like any of these. So it's pretty, I mean, that's, if anything, it's just an indictment of Tony Khan again. And I always bring it back to my guy, Tony, who I'd love to get a White Claw with, you know? But yeah, I hope I broke that down properly. I'm sure I triggered people. You're an apologist. You're a hater. You all go for yourselves. I don't care. This is just how I see it, right? I can see it from both sides. And I definitely just think this isn't something to even get up in arms about. However, I like the controversy, dude. I get to talk about it on this show. And I do enjoy it. Like, these are the type of sicko segments I love, right? Guy with podcast triggers wrestlers and gets kicked off show. Amazing, right? This is what sicko is made for. So this is brilliant. I love it. And yeah, a lot of people are piling on JD. A lot of people are piling on AEW. I'm going to be fence sitting, Phil, approach it from both ways. Am I outraged by either thing, by either side? Not at all. Okay. But let's see if we can get outraged by what's going on with these people talking back and forth. Wrestlers, we got, you know, JD piping in. We got Janela piping in because you know he loves AEW because he's publicly thanked, like, oh, my Megan Bain's getting paid so much and I don't have to do pretty much, right? So JD posts the Charmin soft thing. Everyone's like, damn. And then Wrestle G goes, and this is why the decision was made. You can't be a journalist and continue to frame the criticism in the way you do. First off, journalism is supposed to be critical. It's not supposed to be biased. You want biased journalism, right? You want them to worry about feelings, and that's not what journalism is. And not only that, okay, technically you could say someone like JD or myself is a reporter or journalist because we do talk about news and we are journaling, and I call it chronicling because I don't want to be a journalist reporter. You guys get it, right? I try to approach everything a little differently. I say it's chronicling here at PWT, right? But yeah, you're supposed to, as a journalist, be super critical. You're supposed to be vocal. You're supposed to call out things. You're supposed to approach things with evidence and data and facts and all of that. And if someone personally attacks you and you're a journalist, you're allowed to, and goes at your livelihood. Let's be honest. JD may lose future gigs. Other people, this is sort of, I don't want to be like, this is terrorism, you know, but this is like putting fear in people so they don't do. So now other people on commentary, Charlton, and now JD, they're going to be like, now other commentators are going to be like, I don't want to say or do that might not get me a gig. You guys know what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't want to be like, it's terrorism, but it's like putting fear in people to shut up. What do you call that? I don't know. So this guy's saying you can't be a journalist and continue to frame the criticism in the way you do. There's levels of respect and ways in which to portray your work. So when he spent years glazing AEW, why weren't you saying the same thing? And like, man, how dare you criticize WWE the way you do? You can have the same opinions and deliver them in a professional way. The way you conduct. So just one of these pussies lecturing him on how to live or speak. And he goes, sounds like you watched for the first time yesterday. 7 years commentating. Some of the biggest names in AEW have worked for us. My body of work, respect, and professionalism speaks for itself when I'm working. Your entire tweet is irrelevant. Okay. So he goes, Guy puts her over on every show he does, SMH. And then JD goes, Anthony, you don't want to spoil it for him. So there you go. Like his fans too. This isn't the first time I've heard JD listeners go, bro, he loves Mone. And it's like, there you go. I don't know. I don't listen to JD enough to know if he loves Mone, but for the people saying he was backtracking, it's like there's a bunch of people saying he loves Mone and loved her work as Sasha Banks beforehand as well, and just doesn't like her run in AEW. Is that allowed? There's a lot of people who loved Ricochet who don't love his run in AEW. Isn't that allowed? I don't know. It's so weird how certain things are allowed and certain things aren't to a certain subsection of sickos. That's an alliteration for you right there. Joey Janela responds and goes, doing her first indie show in like over 10 years for people she truly respects and is tight with was probably a really special moment for her. With that said, I wouldn't want to spoil things either with some miserable pay-to-play cunt loser, I'll say it, on commentary. This is not being soft. This is called facing repercussions for your own words and actions. So why would it be ruined? Would he be like, yeah, and you guys, I hate this broad over here. Oh, first I was over there where I loved Sasha Banks. Now I'm over ahead now where I hate Mercedes Moné. Oh, like, what was he going to say on commentary? You guys don't get it. She's Jennifer Peppermint. Did she write that spot? Oh, Jen Peppermint. Like, you know what I mean? What was he going to say? I'm sure he would have been professional. So I get it, though. Joey's allowed to talk because these two have like agreed to mutual combat. They're just allowed to throw down, you know? You can't jump on Joey for jumping in at this point. So look at this shit. So JD says something here. He goes, JD from NY goes, because Adam Copeland and John Moxley are given creative control. The inmates run the asylum, and neither one of them wanted to do business. The only person Copeland has lost to in a singles match is Christian Cage. And then John Draper's like, I don't feel like enough people bring up this creative control thing. Bro, it gets brought up way too much. I love you, John Draper, but dude, no. You're just over there balling out doing like talking about like pop culture, and bro, I'm telling you, it gets brought up so much. It's like, we get it, you know? Yes, everyone in AEW has some degree of creative control. We know. Which also helped tank WCW if memory serves. Yeah, for sure. You're not wrong though, Draper, but yes, no. Yes, no. Yes, no. Yes, no. Yes, yes, no. You're just not in the... You might be 1 foot out the bubble a little more than the next man. I'm not sure, but yes, it gets brought up ad nauseum. So then FTR followed the revolutions like Daily Dumb Tweet, who says Cope and Moxley are gaining creative control. You're just someone who grifts for $7 on Twitter. Just some on Twitter land. Hell, you don't even work backstage. None of us do. We're just wrestling fans. Act like one, you rage-filled cupcake. This is literally the same person who puts out press releases every time AEW does something. He puts out like a press release, like, just so you know my thoughts on this thing, even though nobody asked for my thoughts on this thing. You know, that's what he does. So Janela Baby and JD, they keep going back and forth, right? So JD quote tweets what we read before, what Joey's like, why would she want someone to ruin her moment? Da-da-da-da, right? And then we get JD who goes, Joey is mad that he has failed to make the big stage in the sport that I make more money than him in. Shut the up, or you'll be wearing concrete pajamas for a long sleep at the bottom of the river. Gabagoo. You know, shut the up and continue to beg people to buy your t-shirts so you can scrape by, pay for your rent and medical bills only because you've blown your life savings on Red Lobster and Marlboro cigarettes. Oh man. Oh man, these guys are going hard, man. Janela goes, got me, LOL, keep crying, little buddy. And then JD's like, get well soon, brother, or I'll put you in a rose garden. Red Lobster. I got a cigarette. I got some of my boys parked around back outside of the Red Lobster. They got cottons of Marlboros. Like Goodfellas. Slinging Marlboro Reds out the back of a station wagon by the carton. Behind Red Lobster. Meet me there. Joey Janela goes, blindfold yourself and run in the middle of I-95. Oh, okay. So like death stuff. That's good, I guess. You what? Oh man, it's good. Moving along. So this guy, King Dreadnought, says, shut up. You've never put one ass in a seat and never been a draw. JD has more viewers in one stream than you'll see in a lifetime. And then bad boy Joey Janela goes, brother, I have a sold out show every year with my name attached, where I'm usually the main event, and it's looked at around the world as the biggest independent show of the year. I'd say keep throating JD, but his cock hard wouldn't even reach your throat. Oh, zinger. We got dick jokes and run into traffic jokes, folks. Okay? We're going, no, you're not, hardcore. Jake, I called you edgy earlier. We might have you beat. Joey Janela might have you beat, brother. Edgelords tonight. So funny, man. That's just amazing. So yeah, King Gao says House of Glory did the right thing and kicked JD from NY off of commentary before Mercedes Moné graced their ring for her match. So, dude, was he on commentary and then they kicked him off right before her match? Oh, if that's what they did, I can't believe that. Oh my God. So was he I was commentating the whole first I was over here commentating the whole thing, and now I'm over there now outside on the sidewalk. Oh, I'm walking over here. I'm walking here. JD has to leave. He's crossing the street. I'm walking here. Oh my God. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. So this guy's like, what a pussy. Mercedes Fernando can't take the truth, huh? And then Diva Crave's like, he works for that promotion. And then this guy's like, so where's the hatred for Solomonster? Because he's called out Monet's character and her booking on his podcast. He talked Dynamite this past Wednesday, talks WWE when they mess up. Yeah, Solomonster blocked me, dude, like a long time ago. And yeah, he has said the same thing about AEW that JD has said. Does Solomonster work there? I have no idea. He keeps it real and the IWC sensitive about it. Thanks to all, including myself, that major voices heard about the JD from NY spewed constantly about Monet and AEW. Justice has prevailed. So you see these sickos, man, like now it's like, oh, we get you banned and if you don't agree. Like, do you guys notice a pattern here? Like, this is not how things work out. In any, like, okay, Hollywood tried that. Now they're desperately begging people to go see Snow White because they're sitting there forever being like, well, you all just suck. You're all dumb. We're going to just up Star Wars and you're dumb and just watch it. You know, like we're going to up all this stuff you like and just you because you're dumb. It's like, that doesn't work, guys. You're banned and dumb if you just don't agree with what we have to say about this thing you love. No, that's not how it works. And this is just what turns people off of AEW and pro wrestling in general. I removed Ricochet's. He said, ha, ha, ha. We have more Ricochet, I believe. But he was like, ha, 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 or whatever. And he gets involved because he always mixes it up with Ricochet, with JD, rather. And we have JD's response to all of that. First, some more John Draper. My guy, look at that. John Draper making the sicko segment a couple times. Friend of the show here, 2.3K. And he says, Mercedes having JD removed from his actual job because he refuses to put the company she works for and their product booked by people riddled with antidepressants over is nothing but proof that the criticism labeled towards them are 100% accurate. I mean, he just blanket threw that at AEW, but is he wrong? Like, hey man, if the shoe fits, wear it. If Mercedes is that mad at you, I mean, I don't know, dude. This guy goes, that is such a weak move from her. Did this guy here, Kevin, says, did everyone forget that the people she dragged down? She killed Alexa Bliss forever. Alexa never responded. Draper says it probably came from her boss. They don't like that. He doesn't give them glowing reviews. Week after week, because that's all they really care about. And they have a ton of mentally ill people doing that all the time. Neckbeard says, I don't have a dog in this fight. Mercedes and JD are both twats. There you go. MLJ says, well, JD doesn't belong in the business, so Mercedes has done something very, very good. Why doesn't he email or whatever your name is, bro? You do commentary for indies. There you go. I just probably burnt 13 bridges right there by saying that. You do trash commentary for these shows, bro. Who the f- are you to say that about anyone else either? You know, he doesn't belong. Why? Because he doesn't agree with your opinion about wrestling. We don't belong. Everyone, be different. Be you. Be unique. Be your own person. Speak your own voice. Speak your... all this stuff we promote. But if you don't agree, you're an obsessed weirdo who's probably depressed and you don't like... Yeah, everyone, be your own way unless it's not exactly the way we say, or else you're weird and you don't belong. All accepting wrestling and everybody... Every wrestling's for everyone. Unless you don't agree with us, then you're not allowed. You don't belong. You, man. Be different, guys, until you're different in the way I don't like you, and then you're not allowed. You get banned, and you're not allowed to have a job, and you get banned off Twitter, and you like what the is this, dude? You. I'm gonna do me, JD. Do you? Whether I make fun of you, over there and over here now, because it's all in fun, and that's why you unblock me. I truly believe JD has that, just woke up late to this. That's what I think. Although I get it, people have vendettas with him. And I didn't fully take in his side here, but he's not the one out here bitching. Like, other people are bitching on his behalf, and that's where I gave him some credit. Now, when he goes back and forth with the boys, that's his prerogative. He's got personal beef. They're calling him out by name, bro. He has every right to rebuttal to that. So, anyways, though, and Draper, I mean, at least Mercedes, he blanket threw it at AEW, so I get why people are getting mad at Draper for this. However, yeah, some people, I mean, okay, Draper's right. Another JD, by the way, I'm just noticing. JD, John Draper, but he's right. But when you blanket throw it at AEW, expect the sicko backlash. But if you had just said it about Mercedes, you would have just like got blocked or something. And anyways, because there's a lot of AEW fans who don't with Mercedes either. You know, they are out there. Meng's mullet, though, says him for being him, you for twerking for him. Okay. And you're not twerking for the other side. I follow Meng's mullet too. I didn't. He goes HOG for hiring him. FHOG for being called HOG. That's crazy. I'm gonna start a company called Big Tits. That's kind of funny. I think Meng's mullet's more being like a little more funny here. But I think it's a little bit of seriousness draped in there. Yeah, no, not you for being you, unless he's like outright, a piece of, I guess. But that's, I don't know, man. I haven't seen that. So Ricochet, here we go. I called cap on this. I quote tweeted this too. And I was like, this is complete cap. I'm still going to buy these pay-per-views and tune in every week until we get through. But this is anyone with good criticism gets pushed away. Okay. And anybody with criticism gets welcomed in as like a sicko, even though like Dave Meltzer, they're just hurting AEW. But they get called, they get praised, and they get catered to. The people who have real criticisms, like JD or myself, they get pushed away and get called Fed drones and all this. So Ricochet's capping here, but he responds to this fan who says, "Would be better if you actually listen to what fans want instead of mocking people that are honest about AW. You might be a heel now, but come on with that weak attitude. You're great, but just because someone has an opinion doesn't mean you get them fired." And then Ricochet says, "We listen to our fans, every single one of them. You don't. That's a bold-faced lie. The ones that are left, yeah, you listen to those ones. And those are the ones you shouldn't have been listening to. All of them are important to AW. That's a lie. You slapped so many fans. Ricochet, before you were ever there. This isn't even your conversation to have, Ricochet, because this is before you were ever there. They got slapped in the face, okay? And then he says, however, there's a difference between a fan with real criticisms. So 2 years ago, when I say they need to move to smaller buildings, what is Tony Khan doing? Think of the fan service. Think of the fans. That used to be my main argument. This is the opposite of for the fans. Let's bring it back to old PWT, to old Phil Marks, dude. Okay. What about the fan service booking these big ass buildings where they got to pay $11 a beer and walk for 30 miles to get across the empty building to see the show? Sometimes pay up the ass for parking and stuff. Like what is the that's a fair criticism. Tony Khan catches on 4 years too late and I'm the asshole. No, Ricochet, this isn't even your conversation to be had, bro. I've been more down with AEW longer than you have been, Ricochet. But for real, dude, you were in the Fed, bro. You're not allowed. You don't know real graps, dog. No, but like he was he was in the Fed, bro. That's all I'm saying. Like you didn't get here until this was already too little, too late. You know, it's just a little too late. You came waltzing in when like they're trying to revamp, and you're a part of it. So I just don't think this is room for you to. I don't even know if you've been there 1 year yet. So I don't even know if you can talk. But anyways, he goes, and dumb idiot who just wants to spread unnecessary hate, learn the two. No, Ricochet, I think you need to learn the two. I think you don't know the difference between the two, and you just projected that onto JD. That's what I think. So someone in chat, what if the whole JD Monet thing is a work? Then that's amazing. Then it should be in the sicko segment. Then that's even better. Because we all got work like Marks, and that's part of it, right? So JD says, who wants to tell Trevor that I was a real fan and that he is late to the party with grossly over-exaggerated misinformation? You don't listen to your fans. You all live in a bubble. You don't listen to fans. You all live in a bubble where nothing is wrong and everything is so great. You all hate your fans, and the company shuns genuine concern and criticism to appease one man. Hope this helps, Trev. Hope this helps, Trev. Calling him out his name, giving him that Meltzer disrespect, dude. Yeah, Ricochet's laughing. This guy, Powerful King JJ's like, it must be true if Ricochet's laughing at him for it. BQ Speaks, who was recently, we covered this gentleman in the Dave Meltzer segment last time. He had a story boosted or some information lifted from him by Dave Meltzer, and then he wasn't even credited for it. And then when BQ Speaks was like, yo, Dave, hey, I don't even care that you didn't credit me, but it just should be known, like, you boosted this and didn't credit me, you know? Or however he put it. He just put it in a, like, normal, nonchalant, chill way. And then Dave Meltzer blocked him, as he does, because, well, he's a baby back bitch. But now BQ Speaks makes this sicko segment, and let's hear what a very level-headed gent from my experiences, I believe. So he responds to King Gao, who earlier we covered said House of Glory did the right thing and kicked JD off of the thing, the commentary desk or whatever, right before the match, which is if that's what happened, holy, is that crazy. But Negative BQ says, I listened to JD on my way to work. Dude destroys Mercedes every week. And then when she announced for HOG, he spent the first 5 minutes of the next pod trying to backtrack everything he said by implying that he's actually a huge fan, but just doesn't agree with how she's booked. So there's a conspiracy afoot, like, you know what I mean? I don't know. I don't listen to JD all the time, so y'all will have to tell me that, you know, but that's what he says about the matter. And then I think some people got into it, started mixing it up with him under here. He goes, for the record, I like his content quite a bit. I'm just a no guy who's calling a spade a spade. And then AO's like, he played himself when it was too late, LOL. A Mercedes or TK or whoever used their stroke ought to be embarrassing. It's never a good look when you start to ask if somebody, dude is the biggest flip-flopper since Mitt Romney. More disingenuous IWC BS. Yeah, you guys know what I'm saying? Like, it's like half and half right now, and we have a war between like JD and his people in AW, and it's just more sickos. Like, they're gonna gobble everyone up till they gobble each other up, which is ultimately what's gonna happen at the end of the day. And that's my opinion on it, man. Like, these folk who are interested in tearing each other down are always going to do it until they tear themselves down. And that's, I guess, just the way that the cookie crumbles on all of that. If I'm JD, I'm leaning into this so hard. I agree. I would just be leaning into it, responding to every wrestler. You look on the side here, too. You know, JD's got 2.8K on X, like simul streaming to X as well. So that's like a huge number of people, and he's absolutely crushing it. So I would be leaning into it too. Yeah, I'd mix it up with JD, dude. I think I'd pop him so hard with with my impression of him and stuff. He doesn't seem like a guy who can't take a joke, right? But at the same time, though, I don't know. Someone tag me in his rant. If he rants about this, I'll cover it. But more people are acting butthurt than him. He's actually taking the high road and just sort of only responding to the wrestlers, I think. So that's the way to do this. You don't like complain, just putting out the Charmin thing. That's all you got to do. That's how you win the internet. Like, I get picking your side. That's cool. But JD being pulled off commentaries, like, yeah, Chris Charlton did too. He works for New Japan. Like, why are you surprised he got pulled off of HOG when Charlton got pulled off the New Japan? Like, why would anyone be shocked by this? That's all. To me, I was like, oh, okay, Tony pulling his weight, like more commentators getting pulled off. I just wasn't that shocked. People were outraged, but that's cool. It just shows how over JD is and how galvanizing he is. And I don't know. I aspire to get numbers like his one day, so I ain't hating at that. Controversy creates cash, folks. We learned that from the best. And yeah, I don't know. I will just say that I think JD got the W in this one overall, just like the way he handled it, you know? Because it just looks so petty and it just looks like Charmin soft, like just more of no WWE wrestlers are like pull JD off the comment. They don't give a and AEW. This keeps happening and it's going to keep happening while Tony's in charge because this is how he thinks you handle problems. You just throw money at it or we'll just pull our weight and billionaire, you know, we just take care of things like, you know. It just is what it is. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was extra special sicko segment here.